Not the lion, not the leopard. This is the true apex killer with the highest hunting success rate on the savannah. Welcome to the world of the African wild dog, where collective strength and iron discipline rule the law of survival. Join us as we uncover the journey of these striped warriors right now. In the wild, zebras are not merely exceptional runners, they are formidable fighters, armed with devastating rear kicks, capable of delivering tremendous force, surrounded by a pack of African wild dogs. A zebra does not simply surrender to fate. It unleashes explosive counterattacks with fierce determination. Even as the predators employ their relentless strategy of surrounding and exhausting their target, the zebra proves just how dangerous it can be. With a single well-placed kick, it can shatter jaws or bring down any hunter bold enough to move too close. In the unforgiving battle for survival, one precise strike is more than defense. It is a powerful declaration of resilience in the face of lethal threats. The footage captures a dramatic reversal of roles when the cunning leopard decides to become the hunter instead of the one hiding. Taking advantage of a moment when the wild dogs are busy enjoying their late lunch, the leopard bursts out of the bushes like an arrow, using its terrifying speed and raw power to shock the pack. Caught completely off guard by the sudden aggression, with overwhelming aggression, the pack of African wild dogs drives the herd of zebras away from the forest's edge to seize control of the territory. Despite their impressive size and strength, the zebras are ultimately forced to retreat under the intense pressure of the coordinated predators. It is a striking reminder that sheer determination and unified pack strategy can overpower even the most imposing opponent. The savannah trembles beneath the steps of a true moving fortress, where the rhinoceros displays its thick, armor-like hide and unmatched power. The encounter between this silent giant and a cunning pack of African wild dogs becomes a ruthless test of that razor-sharp Elephants are truly the uncrowned kings of the savannah, possessing both remarkable intelligence and overwhelming physical power. Encounters between them and African wild dogs unfold like a tense symphony of survival. While the pack may rely on bold numbers and harassment tactics to test smaller or vulnerable individuals, the matriarch The sun begins to rise as wild dogs launch the beast. A stubborn giant with a powerful build and razor-sharp horns is always a formidable challenge on the savannah hunt thanks to its strong survival instincts. Yet even that raw power can be tested when it encounters one of nature's greatest tactical hunters, the African wild dog, Leopard. What follows is a clash between brute strength and relentless strategy on one side stands a lone powerhouse capable of charging through danger, while on the other is a disciplined with seamless coordination and perfectly timed strategic bites. The pack of wild dogs ultimately brings the massive wildebeest under complete control. Overwhelmed by their blistering speed and a relentless encirclement that leaves no escape, the giant soon begins to tire. In the end, the powerful grazer collapses, defeated by the brutal efficiency and collective strength of these highly skilled predators. Collapses under the relentless layers of pressure. slowly becoming trapped in a tightening maze of hunters with no escape in sight. Turning itself into a living fortress, the antelope unleashes thunderous back kicks and swings its razor-sharp horns to drive away every wave of attack. Against this solid wall of defense, the pack of wild dogs, despite their frantic attempts to surround and overwhelm, finds themselves completely powerless. The hunt stalls in a tense deadlock, where the prey's sheer resilience manages to hold off the relentless strategy of the pack. By splitting into smaller groups to surround and cut off escape routes with careful calculation, the pack of wild dogs completely neutralizes the prey's advantage in speed. This seamless coordination not only drains the target's strength with ruthless efficiency, but also highlights the overwhelming power of disciplined teamwork against the desperate bursts of a lone runner. Rhinoceros is the armored tank of the savannah, built like a fortress and armed with a razor-sharp horn that radiates raw power, despite its overwhelming strength. Even this giant occasionally draws the attention of a cunning pack of African wild dogs. In these rare encounters, the pack relies on harassment tactics, circling relentlessly, probing for any sign of weakness. Yet a single thunderous charge or a forceful snort from the rhino is often enough to send the smaller predators scattering. The clash is a striking contrast brute. Muscular dominance on one side, calculated agility and opportunism on the other, an intense standoff where even a coordinated pack struggles to shake this living fortress. Footage captures a dramatic reversal of roles when the cunning leopard decides to become the hunter instead of the one hiding. Taking advantage of a moment when the wild dogs are busy enjoying their late lunch, the leopard bursts out of the bushes like an arrow, using its terrifying speed and raw power to shock the pack. Caught completely off guard by the sudden aggression of the spotted assassin, the wild dogs scatter in confusion. Abandoning the prey they had just hunted, they rush after the leopard, but the clever predator has already surrounded by the aggressive pack of wild dogs barking loudly to intimidate it. The leopard quickly relies on its natural climbing ability to escape. In a split second, it bursts upward and races straight to the top of a towering tree, leaving the large group of frustrated opponents leaping helplessly below. At the edge of the woodland, the pack closes in and finally brings the waterbuck down through seamless coordination and relentless pressure. Rather than ending the struggle immediately, they pace the kill strategically, preserving the resource to sustain the entire pack amid the constant threat of competing predators nearby. Despite fighting to her very last breath, the waterbuck ultimately succumbs to the persistence and calculated brutality of some of the savannah's most elite hunters. The leopard, a solitary assassin with unmatched stealth, is forced to tread carefully in the face of the African wild dog's iron discipline. This is a life-or-death encounter, pitting extraordinary individual prowess against the devastating force of coordinated pack tactics. It is a brutal test can solitary brilliance withstand a relentless assault with no gaps, no mercy, and no escape. The footage captures a dramatic reversal of roles when the cunning leopard decides to become the hunter instead of the one hiding. Taking advantage of a moment when the wild dogs are busy enjoying their late lunch, the leopard bursts out of the bushes like an arrow, using its terrifying speed and raw power to shock the pack. Caught completely off guard by the sudden aggression of the spotted assassin, the wild dogs scatter in confusion. Abandoning the prey they had just hunted, they run. Faced with the fierce circle of wild dogs closing in, the leopard doesn't choose to fight to the death, but instead displays its masterful escape skills. With one powerful surge of its body, it shoots straight up the vertical trunk of a tree, leaving behind the desperate barking and the pack's helpless leaps below. On the open plains of the Okavango, a leopard has just taken down its prey when it suddenly finds itself facing a pack of aggressive wild dogs. Instead of backing off before the lone predator's power, the dogs move in with perfect coordination, using sharp, piercing barks and constant snapping bites to surround and overwhelm their rival. Realizing the numbers are heavily against it, the leopard has no choice but to abandon the fresh kill and retreat up an Elephants are truly the uncrowned kings of the savannah, possessing both remarkable intelligence and overwhelming physical power. Encounters between them and African wild dogs unfold like a tense symphony of survival. While the pack may rely on bold numbers and harassment tactics to test smaller or vulnerable individuals, the matriarch responds with absolute authority. With ears spread wide and a thunderous trumpet, the giant charges forward, swinging her muscular trunk and pounding the ground with earth. The savannah trembles beneath the steps of a true moving fortress, where the rhinoceros displays its thick, armor-like hide and unmatched power. The encounter between this silent giant and a cunning pack of African wild dogs becomes a ruthless test of that razor-sharp horn against a circle of relentless predators. Can the pack's agility and iron discipline uncover even the smallest weakness in what seems like impenetrable armor? The answer awaits in the intense, edge-of-your-seat confrontation that follows. Breathless confrontation erupts as the wild dogs boldly surround their rival, using sheer numbers to provoke the king of the savannah. Despite being encircled by agile and cunning specialists, the male lion maintains his commanding presence, with explosive swipes and thunderous roars that shake the air. He issues a fierce warning, reasserting absolute power in the face of relentless harassment. Wildebeest, a stubborn giant with a powerful build and razor-sharp horns, is always a formidable challenge on the savannah thanks to its strong survival instincts. Yet even that raw power can be tested when it encounters one of nature's greatest tactical hunters, the African wild dog. What follows is a clash between brute strength and relentless strategy. On one side stands a lone powerhouse capable of charging through danger, while on the other is a disciplined. With seamless coordination and perfectly timed, strategic bites, the pack of wild dogs ultimately brings the massive wildebeest under complete control. Overwhelmed by their blistering speed and a relentless encirclement that leaves no escape, the giant soon begins to tire. In the end, the powerful grazer collapses, defeated by the brutal efficiency and collective strength of these highly skilled predators. With frightening persistence, the pack of wild dogs relentlessly pursues the antelope, draining its strength along a deadly path of exhaustion. Despite its impressive size and power, the prey ultimately collapses under the relentless layers of pressure, slowly becoming trapped in a tightening maze of hunters with no escape in sight. By splitting into smaller groups to surround and cut off escape routes with careful calculation, the pack of wild dogs completely neutralizes the prey's advantage in speed. This seamless coordination not only drains the target's strength with ruthless efficiency, but also highlights the overwhelming power of disciplined teamwork against the desperate bursts of a lone runner. If wild dogs represent discipline and speed, then the hyena stands as the embodiment of brute strength and ruthless cunning, armed with jaws powerful enough to crush bone. The hyena is the ultimate opportunistic raider, always ready to snatch victory from the hard work of others. When these two predators collide, it becomes far more than a fight over a carcass. It's a fiery showdown between agile pack strategy and raw, relentless toughness. Out on the unforgiving savannah, only one side can truly dominate the game in this no mercy. Out on the open savannah, the African wild dog pack locks onto a newborn buffalo calf as its next target, exploiting the calf's fragility and a fleeting lapse in the mother's guard. They apply relentless pressure, working methodically to isolate the vulnerable young. Though the mother fights back in desperation, the suffocating force of so many coordinated predators gradually overwhelms her defense. It is a harsh reminder of nature's unforgiving law, where a life that has only just begun can be confronted by death within moments. Pack of 21 wild dogs closes in, relying on sheer numbers and iron discipline to separate the mother buffalo from her calf. Despite the mother's frantic and fearless defense, the pack's relentless wear-down strategy steadily drains the young calf's strength. In the end, the calf collapses under the brutal collective pressure of the coordinated hunters, bringing a tragic chapter of the survival struggle to its inevitable close. Of dust, the chase suddenly turns into a fiery close-quarters clash. The lone hyena relies on sheer muscle as its shield, launching furious counterattacks against the wild dog's unpredictable hit-and-run tactics. But the overwhelming force of numbers quickly tightens the circle, forcing the stubborn fighter to retreat in fear and flee to save its life. The once peaceful waterhole suddenly erupts into chaos as two of the savannah's fiercest forces collide hyenas and wild dogs. Driven by thirst and the lure of an easy meal, the area transforms into a fiery battleground filled with menacing growls and thunderous snapping jaws. While the wild dogs show powerful yet fragile African wild dogs are slowly disappearing from the natural world. Protecting them means protecting the planet's biodiversity itself. Thank you for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe.